Welcome back to another episode of Mama Rae. I'm your host, Mama Rae, and today we are diving into a story that's both powerful and poignant, one that underscores the vital importance of truth and accountability in our world. Today we're talking about John M. Barnett, a man whose bravery and integrity led him to blow the whistle on critical safety issues at Boeing, ultimately leading to his untimely death in March 2024. We'll be exploring his life, his journey at Boeing, and why his words and actions are something we should all pay close attention to. John Barnett wasn't just a Boeing employee. He was a man committed to the safety and well-being of all of us who rely on air travel. His decision to come forward was not an easy one, and it came with significant personal risk. But his courage has paved the way for others to speak out. Even as we remember the high cost paid by those who came before. We also want to shine a light on the current whistleblower who faces the daunting reality that two whistleblowers before him, including Barnett, are now gone. It's a stark reminder of the risks involved in standing up for what's right, but also of the essential role these individuals play in safeguarding our world. In this episode, we'll discuss why John Barnett's words still matter, the impact of his actions, and the ongoing struggle for truth and accountability in industries that affect us all. We'll also reflect on broader issues of advocacy, the risks we take, and why we continue to fight for awareness and the well-being of all mankind. Let us dive in. But before we dive into today's episode, we'd like to provide a few important disclaimers and disclosures. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. Our discussion is based on publicly available information, personal experiences, and expert opinions. We strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, but we encourage listeners to conduct their own research and consult with professionals for specific advice. This episode contains discussions about whistleblowing, corporate misconduct, and the personal and professional repercussions faced by those who come forward. Some content may be distressing for listeners, so listener discretion is advised. While we discuss legal and ethical issues related to whistleblowing, this podcast does not provide legal advice. If you have legal concerns or are considering blowing the whistle, we strongly recommend seeking legal counsel to understand your rights and protections. If you are a whistleblower or considering coming forward, there are organizations and resources available to provide support and guidance. We will provide links and contact information in the show notes for those who may need assistance. With these disclaimers and disclosures in mind, let's proceed with today's important discussion about John M. Barnett and the critical role of whistleblowers in our society. John Barnett started his journey at Boeing with a commitment to excellence and a deep concern for safety. His career was marked by dedication, but it was his decision to speak out about safety violations that truly defined his legacy. We'll explore how he got started, what drove him to take such significant risks, and why we should trust the words of a man who put everything on the line for the greater good. John Barnett joined Boeing, driven by a passion for aerospace engineering and dedication to ensuring the highest standards of safety. Over the years, he became known for his meticulous attention to detail and unwavering commitment to doing what was right, even when it wasn't easy. But it was his experience on the job, seeing firsthand the corners that were being cut and the safety risks that were ignored, that actually pushed him to speak out. His journey from dedicated employee to whistleblower was fueled by a deep sense of responsibility to the public and the countless lives that depend on air travel safety.
Okay, so with all the risk involved, why would John want to come forward?
Well, John Barnett's credibility comes with his extensive experience and firsthand knowledge of Boeing's operations. He wasn't just speaking out as an outsider, but as someone who was deeply embedded in the process, someone who saw the dangers and felt compelled to act. His warnings were consistent, detailed, and backed by evidence, which makes his claims all the more trustworthy. Moreover, the fact that he was willing to face such severe personal and professional consequences speaks volumes about his integrity and the seriousness of his claims.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to what the current whistleblower is feeling. Like, knowing the history of, the past whistleblowers.
Yeah, well, the current whistleblower faces a perilous path, marked by shadows of those who came before him, like John Barnett. They are navigating a landscape filled with threats to their career, personal safety, and mental well-being. The knowledge that previous whistleblowers have faced tragic outcomes adds an immense psychological burden. Yet, despite these dangers, they continue to stand up, driven by the same sense of duty and moral obligation that guided John Barnett. It's a testament to their courage and the importance of their mission. John Barnett's journey at Boeing began in 2010 when he was hired as a quality manager. From the start, he was known for his dedication to quality and safety, but it was his deep sense of responsibility that led him to uncover and expose serious safety violations that could have catastrophic consequences. Today, we delve deeper into his story.
Okay, so what were some of the specific safety issues that John Barnett uncovered during his time at Boeing?
So, John actually discovered several alarming practices, including defective oxygen systems and substandard manufacturing processes that compromised the integrity of the aircraft itself. So what he did is he would document these issues meticulously, providing evidence that highlighted the potential risks to the passengers and also to the crew. Despite internal pushback, John continued to advocate for correctiveness, or for these issues to be corrected. And driven by his commitment to safety and integrity, he just kept pushing on, even when all his higher-ups were like, no, we don't want you to talk about this anymore.
Okay, so, how did Boeing's initial, respond to John's findings and warnings? Because I'm pretty sure, a well-known company like Boeing would take this matter, pretty seriously, right?
Yeah, well, Boeing's response was, unfortunately, not supportive. Because they do have this big name that they're representing, and they have a demand. right? So you could imagine if someone like John came forward and was like, oh, hey, take down X amount of planes or push whatever work back, a company would see that as, time spent, right? So John faced significant resistance from the company, which prioritized production schedules and cost-saving measures over addressing the safety concerns he raised. He was subjected to intimidation and retaliation, which is also a common tactic used to silence most whistleblowers. Despite this, John remained steadfast, believing that the truth needed to come out for the safety of everyone involved.
So, with all that said, I wonder, what impact did John's whistleblowing have on his, personal and, professional life?
Well, the consequences for John were severe. Professionally, he was marginalized and eventually forced out of his position. Personally, he faced immense stress and fear for his safety and that of his own family. Yet, his resolve never wavered. John understood the gravity of the situation, and he felt morally obligated to ensure that the public was aware of the risks they faced. His courage had a profound impact, sparking investigation and bringing much needed scrutiny to Boeing's practices.
Okay, so, why should we trust John's claims? Given the potential, biases and conflicts within such a large organization. I'm pretty sure everyone has their own opinion about something, right?
John's claims are backed by his extensive experience and detailed evidence he provided. He had nothing to gain personally from coming forward and everything to lose, which underscores his integrity and commitment to the truth. Furthermore, independent investigations have reports that corroborate many of his findings, adding credibility to his warnings. His actions were not driven by personal vendettas, but by a genuine concern for public safety.
I wonder what challenges the current whistleblower face. Knowing the fate of those before him, like John Barnett,
Well, yeah, the current whistleblower operates under an immense cloud of fear and uncertainty. Aware of these tragic outcomes faced by predecessors like John, this individual is not only fighting against corporate denial, but also dealing with the psychological burden of potential retaliation and harm. Yet he has this courage to stand up despite these risks, and that's a testament to his commitment to the truth and safety. They understand the importance of their role in preventing future tragedies and ensuring accountability. John Barnett's legacy is one of courage and unwavering dedication to doing what is right. His story reminds us of the importance of whistleblowers in holding powerful entities accountable. The risks they take are immense, but their contributions are invaluable in ensuring the safety and well-being of all. As we continue to advocate for the truth and transparency, let us remember the sacrifices made by individuals like John and support those who follow in their footsteps.
So, for more awareness to the public, what can we do, as a society, support whistleblowers and promote a culture of accountability?
Well, first we need stronger legal protections for whistleblowers to safeguard them against retaliation. In the court systems, if they have a witness, for example, they go into protection, a witness protection care, right?
Yeah.
They get these safe houses and things like that.
Yeah.
Why not build a structure something similar like that for whistleblowers,
Yeah.
especially when they're facing bigger, much larger companies. Public awareness and support are so crucial, as they create an environment where whistleblowers can feel valued and heard. Organizations must prioritize ethical practices and transparency, recognizing that the long-term benefits far outweigh the short-term costs. By fostering a culture that values truth and integrity, we can help ensure that whistleblowers are seen as heroes that they are, protecting the well-being of all mankind.
Alright, so can we discuss like some of the other notable incidents like that were involving Boeing's aircraft that have raised like public concern? Because there's like so many other ones.
Absolutely. There actually have been several significant incidents involving Boeing aircraft that have highlighted serious concerns about aircraft safety and the importance of rigorous safety standards and transparency in the aviation industry. So let's delve into a few of these notable cases. First, let's talk about the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. You remember when this came out? This was only a few years ago.
Yeah.
And when this was on, you watched me go down this really deep rabbit hole, right? I was really obsessed over this case. But this Boeing 777-200ER vanished on March 8th, 2014, while en route to Kuala Lumpur, to Beijing, right? Like it was from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 people on board. Despite extensive search efforts, the main wreckage has never been found, and the exact cause of its disappearance is still unknown. This incident remains one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history and has led to numerous theories and speculations about what might have happened. I mean, I think I've even heard someone say that they went into like a wormhole. You know, like that they probably disappeared. And like maybe they might show up later on somewhere else because it's just a way that it kind of disappeared off like the radar. There's lots of information out there, lots of like documentaries and even like History Channel's already done so. I mean, it's 10 years ago, you know, and we said a few years ago because 10 years ago always feels like a few years ago, but you know, I still think about it even today.
Yeah.
The lack of closure and definitive answers continues to haunt not just me, but the families of the passengers and the crew, as well as the global aviation community.
Yeah.
Like think about like all their coworkers, all the people that any of these people have been in contact with that worked on that plane.
Yeah.
They're probably all sitting. Imagine if it was your coworker.
Yeah.
What would you think?
Yeah, it's like a mystery. Like what happened?
Next, we have Lion Air Flight 610, which crashed into the Java Sea shortly after takeoff from Jakarta? From Jakarta, Indonesia. And that happened on October 29, 2018. So this Boeing 737 MAX 8, this aircraft crashed and it killed 189 passengers and the crew on board. The crash was attributed to issues with the aircraft's maneuvering characteristics and the what is that called? The augmentation systems, or MCAS, which triggered uncommon nose-down movements. I think I've actually heard something about this because it was like they reported that they were trying to bring it up, like trying to bring the plane up, but for some reason it just kept pointing downward. Like it was like the sensors were off. So the investigation revealed that the faulty sensor readings and inadequate pilot training on these newer systems, because they were never they didn't even know that they put it on the plane. So that was something else that was discovered during this investigation, that the pilots weren't even aware this was put on the plane, and other pilots raised a lot of concern. It was like all over the news. But yeah, there were significant factors contributing to that crash. Now, following this, another tragic incident involving a Boeing 737 MAX 8 occurred, and that occurred on March 10th, 2019, with an Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. So the flight crashed 6 minutes after takeoff from the Addis Ababa, and that killed 157 people on board. Similar to the Lion Air crash, this disaster was also linked to problems with the MCAS system. So the combined impact of these two crashes led to a worldwide grounding of all Boeing 737 MAX fleet. Do you remember when that happened?
Yeah.
So these incidents highlighted critical flaws in the aircraft design and the certification process, prompting a reevaluation of safety protocols and regulatory oversights. Another notable incident is TWA Flight 800, which exploded and crashed into the Atlantic Ocean shortly after takeoff from New York on July 17, 1996. So this is a little bit of an older one. But this Boeing 747-100 crash resulted in the deaths of all 230 people on board. The official investigation concluded that the likely cause was a fuel tank explosion triggered by an electrical short circuit. So it's something so small.
Yeah.
But it took all of them. Like, it took all 230 people. And there's been ongoing debate and conspiracy theories about other potential causes, including a missile strike or a terrorist attack. Investigations and its findings were highly controversial and remain a topic of discussion to this day. So, these tragedies underscore a vital importance of whistleblowers like John Barnett. Their willingness to come forward and expose potential safety issues is crucial in preventing future disasters and ensuring that lessons are learned from past incidents. The aviation industry must prioritize safety and transparency to maintain public trust and protect the lives of passengers and crew. As we discuss John Barnett's legacy, the challenges faced by today's whistleblowers, and the broader implications of their work, let's remember the critical role they play in maintaining the integrity of our systems. Their bravery ensures that the public remains protected and that accountability is upheld in industries that impact us all. As we discuss John Barnett's legacy, the challenges faced by today's whistleblowers, and the broader implications of their work, let's remember the critical role they play in maintaining the integrity of our systems. Their bravery ensures that the public remains protected and accountability is upheld in industries that impact us all. So let's get into it and shed some light on the issue that affects us all. Even if we don't see it every day, it's about the risks we take to bring awareness and why it's so crucial for the well-being of all mankind. Now that we've covered John Barnett's courageous journey at Boeing and his critical role in exposing safety issues, let's turn our attention to the tragic events surrounding his passing in March 2024. John's death shocked many and left a significant impact on those who knew him and those who were inspired by his bravery. John Barnett was found deceased in his home under circumstances that have raised numerous questions and concerns. While the official cause of death has been listed as suicide by firearm, friends and family have voiced strong suspicions about the events leading up to his death. They claim that John faced increasing pressure and threats, which they believe may have contributed to his untimely demise.
What specific claims have been made by John Barnett's friends and family regarding his passing?
So, John's family and his close friends have asserted that he was under immense stress and fear for his safety in the months leading up to his death. They reported that he received several anonymous threats warning him to stay silent about the issues that he had raised. Some family members have suggested that there might be more to his death than what had been officially reported, hinting at the possibility of foul play or severe mental and emotional strain caused by the relentless intimidation that he faced. Additionally, colleagues who worked closely with John have spoken out about the hostile work environment and the lack of support from Boeing, which they believe exacerbated his stress. So these claims have not only intensified the grief of his loved ones, but have also raised alarm within the community of whistleblowers and advocates for corporate accountability.
Okay, so given these allegations and the circumstances of his death, what can we expect going forward, in terms of investigations or actions from relevant authorities?
Well, in light of these serious allegations, there have been calls for a thorough and independent investigation into John Barnett's death. Advocacy groups and legal representation and representatives are pushing for comprehensive review to ensure that all potential factors are considered and that justice is served. This includes examining any possible connections between his whistleblowing activities and the threats that he received. Furthermore, there's an ongoing demand for a better protection system for whistleblowers to prevent such tragedies in the future. Legislative proposals are being discussed to strengthen laws and provide more robust safeguards for those who come forward with critical information. So these measures aim to create a safer environment where individuals can report wrongdoing without fear of retaliation or harm.
Okay, so what can the public do to support these efforts and ensure that John Barnett's legacy is honored?
Well, public support is critical and crucial in driving change and ensuring that whistleblowers like John Barnett are protected. A few ways that people can help is to raise awareness. They could share John's story and stories like these and the stories of other whistleblowers, educating others about their contributions and the risks that they faced. That can help build a stronger collective demand for change. There's also, advocacy for stronger protection, support legislations that provide better protection for whistleblowers. You can contact your representatives to express the importance of these laws. And then you can also support whistleblower organizations. Donate to or volunteer with organizations that offer legal and emotional support to whistleblowers. These organizations play a vital role in providing the necessary resources and advocacies. And you can also just, stay informed. Keep up with developments in John's case and other similar cases. Staying informed allows you to act and advocate more effectively. So by taking these steps, we can honor John Barnett's legacy and contribute to a culture of accountability and safety. John's bravery should inspire us all to strive for a world where truth and integrity are valued and protected. As we move forward, let's remember the significant impact John Barnett had and continue to support those who follow in his footsteps. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that the voices of whistleblowers are heard and respected. As we reflect on the legacy of John Barnett and the challenges he faced, it's important to recognize the bravery of the most recent whistleblower who has come forward. This individual is standing up against significant risks to expose critical safety issues, continuing the work that John and others before him started. The latest whistleblower, Sam Salpour, has revealed Boeing was so eager to meet its production goals that the company, chose to take shortcuts when fastening the carbon composite fuselage of the 787, which he warns can dramatically shorten the life of the plane and potentially cause the plane to break apart mid-flight. He was quoted saying, "I'm doing this not because I want Boeing to fail, but because I want it to succeed and prevent crashes from happening." In another statement, he was quoted saying, "The truth is, Boeing can't keep going this way. It needs to do a little bit better, I think." This pursuit of truth is essential for maintaining the integrity and safety of the aviation industry and protecting the lives of countless passengers.
Yeah, that holds true to that. Like, how can we as a society actively safeguard this whistleblower's pursuit, ensure their efforts are not in vain?
Well, we can support this whistleblower in several ways. We can continue to raise awareness, share their story widely to ensure it gains the attention it deserves. Public awareness can provide a level of protection and support that makes it harder for powerful entities to retaliate in silence. And then there's advocacy for stronger protections. Push for legislative changes that offer robust protections for whistleblowers. This includes legal immunity, financial support, and mental health resources for those who come forward with critical information. Support whistleblower organizations. Engage with and support organizations that provide legal assistance, advocacy, and resources for whistleblowers. These groups are crucial in helping whistleblowers navigate the complex and often hostile environment they face. Engage with the media. Encourage responsible media coverage that respects the anonymity and safety of the whistleblower while ensuring their claims are taken seriously and investigated thoroughly.
So what does this pursuit look like? And what can we as listeners expect as the investigation unfolds?
The pursuit involves rigorous scrutiny of the claims made by the whistleblowers, thorough investigations by independent bodies, and potential legal actions to hold accountable those responsible for any wrongdoing. Listeners can expect updates on the progress of these investigations, responses from the involved companies, and any legislative actions taken as a result of these revelations. It's a complex and often lengthy process, but it is essential for ensuring justice and accountability. As we continue to follow this story, we must remain vigilant and supportive, ensuring that whistleblowers' efforts lead to meaningful change. Our collective voice can help create a safer and more transparent industry. Thank you for joining us on this important episode of the Mama Rae podcast. We hope it has shed light on crucial roles of whistleblowers and the ongoing fight for safety and accountability in aviation. Remember, you can engage with us by sharing your thoughts and staying informed through our social media channels and website. Don't forget our regular episodes drop every Wednesday at midnight Pacific Standard Time, with special Friday editions featuring exclusive interviews when available. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, the truth is a powerful thing, and together we can make a difference. This is Mama Rae signing off. Take care and keep striving for a better world. As we wrap up this episode, we want to take a moment to hear from you, our amazing listeners. Your feedback and engagement are incredibly valuable to us and help shape the content we bring to you each week. We want to know what cases or stories you'd like us to deep dive into next.
That's right, Mama Rae. We're launching new polls where you can vote on topics you're most interested in. Whether it's more on whistleblower stories, deep dives into historical mysteries, or current events that need more attention, we want to hear from you.
To participate in our polls, click on the poll provided on this episode and email us at Mama Rae, that's MAMARAE at mail.com. That's MAIL.com. Or follow us on our social media channels at girlmom_walkin or girldad
walkin
_walkin. You'll find links to the polls and opportunities to suggest new topics. Your voice matters, and we're excited to dive into the stories that resonate most with you.
And while you're there, don't forget to rate and review our podcast on your favorite listening platform. Your ratings and reviews help us reach more listeners and continue to bring you quality content.
Plus, we love hearing your thoughts and suggestions. Your feedback helps us improve and ensure we're covering the stories that you care about most. So please, take a moment to rate, review, and let us know what you'd like to hear next.
So engage with us, share your ideas, and let's make this podcast even better together.
Thank you for being a part of the Mama Rae podcast community. We can't wait to hear from you and explore the topics that matter to you most. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and keep striving for a better world.